what Ramon does every single day, being part of Mike Ferry, he does coaching for them. And he gets to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. Go ahead and put it right here. Oh, it's not working. Yeah. Put it on first. And what I wanted Ramon to share with you, or share with all of us, is that what does he go through and what does he see with some of the agents that do really well in the beginning? What are the top agents doing out there, and what's the common denominator every city? Because there's no secrets to this. One is you got to show up. So one of the things we've talked about recently is that we're always trying to find a new way not to work. Okay, so we're trying to figure that out, and there's no way. You just get up and do it, right? Just gotta do it. Come on up here, Ramon. Don't be shy. So I want to know, what's the number one mistake you see realtors make right now that's really hurting their business?
Well, you know what? One of the things that you have always told me, this is going back 10 years, or the 8 years I was working here, is like half the battle showing up. And the most of the problem starts in your schedule. Everything really starts there. Is that it usually starts the night before, because every time I talk to people, they have a struggle because they have this mentality that we are independent contractors. Therefore, I don't have to check in. I can go whenever I want. But that's the biggest problem that we have, because if you show up already at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, you're already behind the 8 ball. And so the problem is, I try to work with a lot of the agents, is let's first dive in. As a matter of fact, in the MFO book, the Mike Ferry coaching book, that they give us as a coach, number one is time management. And why? Because we got to work on the time management. And your day is divided into three sections. You got to master your morning routine. But besides that, you got to master your evening routine, because the problem is they just don't control their time. They go in whenever they want. And somebody, Melvin, came up yesterday and asked me, hey, what was the biggest risk that you had to go through, to get to the level that you're at right now? And I said, well, there was a lot of risk, and the biggest risk is your evenings and your weekends. That's the biggest risk, because last night I was leaving at 7 o'clock, and this place was empty. Nobody was here, 7 o'clock. The only person that I ran into was the two lenders. I ran into Kevin, right, and then I ran into Tom. And that was it. I think there was probably one more person, Oh, that's right, Celeste. Celeste was there. So that was it. That was it. And so I know me and Charlie, we've been talking, and it's like, you came up to me and said, what do I need to do? What did I tell you?
Get here on time, every single day, same time.
Every single day, the same time. And you preach.
Well, I always say this: I don't care when you show up. I don't care, but it's got to be that time every single day. So if you got an appointment at 9 o'clock, but you usually come in at 11, you got to make it at 11. Okay, you can't fluctuate. Okay, so I want to know more about the night schedule. What do you mean by that?
So the night schedule, you have to prepare yourself, because the thing is that you have to look. One of my routines is I look at, when I leave the office, I'll look at my schedule. I'll look at what's going on tomorrow, how many meetings, how many appointments, how many clients I got to follow up. What do I have to negotiate or help? Right? What do I got to make a difference? And then I said to myself, okay, now I know what the schedule looks like for tomorrow. I better prepare myself. If I have a lot of listing appointments or buyer appointments or just other appointments that I have, I say to myself, okay, I know what the intention is, so then I got to go to bed at a certain time. 9 o'clock is like the turn. I have a little timer on my phone, so at 8:30 it pops up, say, hey, reminder, it's time to prepare yourself to go to bed. How many of you guys have iPhones? Most of you guys, right? So there's a setting in there you can set up your evening time. So the evening time is make sure that you go to bed at the same time every night, and prepare yourself for the next day. If you prepare yourself mentally and just also physically by going to bed, right, and not scrolling through social media, that helps us big time. So that's the routine at night. The nighttime is, if you know that you're going to be working 7 to 7 every day, just make sure that you put an alarm. Put an alarm on your phone. And then at a certain time every night, put that alarm so you can go to bed at the same time every night. And make it a routine. Make it a routine. Make it a non-negotiable. If you do that into a non-negotiable, you're going to wake up early. You're going to be able to get your workout in. And then you're going to show up here on time every day. Now, when I came here, I started being here at 7. Right? So sometimes I beat you, sometimes you beat me, and we're like,
you never beat me here. You may leave your car overnight, but you don't beat me here.
So and listen, this is the leader here, guys. He's leading us by example. And I try to teach that to a lot of people. So that when the gentleman asked me yesterday, what is the risk? I said, the risk is the evening and the risk is the weekends. Because everybody has the mentality, we as real estate agents, all right, cool, man, the weekend is here. They sleep in, 8 o'clock, nobody shows up. I mean, how many people show up out of the people we have here? How many people show up, honestly?
Well, there's not a lot, but that's because, it's not because of their sleeping habits, it's really because you don't have something really good to wake up to. And really, when you have something fun to wake up to, that'll happen. So with me, I'll just share with you, being successful is really boring. Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to bed at 9 o'clock, and I've had to fight this because going to bed, they tell you, you know, anybody gets sleep hygiene, okay, of how you sleep and how you wake up, and this app does it for me, it scores you and does all this stuff, so you gotta know about that, but going to bed and turning off everything. And at 9 o'clock, it's really hard because I think about some of you thinking about, you know, you're out doing something, you're watching TV still. I mean, I go to bed and they're still downstairs and I can hear them, and, you know, Uber Eats is delivering something at 8 and 9 o'clock, and I'm like, they're having pizza, and I'm like, hey, that looks good, but it's really boring to be successful, but I know that I gotta wake up at 3:30. I have to wake up at that time. Okay, it's like non-negotiable because, hey, those of you who haven't seen us, we're in this thing about, hey, who's going to lose the most amount of weight, or, you know, the weight that we're going to lose. So, hey, I'm really committed to that. Okay, so then I get in a conversation with a broker down the street. He says, what time do you wake up and go to bed to do this? I said, well, I go to bed at 9, I wake up at 3. He's like, and I can tell the commitment's not there. Okay, so you got to think like this weekend, this is a big weekend that you're going to make really strides in the business, or you're going to fall backwards. And what I mean by that is we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And we have our kids at home, we have things going on, but hey, this is the time when all of our customers are at home. That purchase cycle model, the highest level that's going to be is like during these holiday seasons when people are saying, hey, it's time for me to stop renting, start buying, or hey, move it from this house to that house. This is the best time. Open houses, I think, this weekend will probably be the best. Okay, so that's just me. So you got to think for yourself, are you waking up to something that you really, really want? Or are you just going through the motions?
So one of the things I do with all my coaching clients, the first thing I do is I say, have you made a bucket list? And most people have never taken the time to do a bucket list. And I say, here's the assignment. Write down your bucket list, write down 100 goals for your life. 100. I did this when I was in my 20s when I met Mike. I already accomplished half of those 100 goals in my life. And I share that with my kids, right? But the thing is that you have to write down 100 goals that you want for your life. After you do the 100 goals that you want for your life, then write down what is it going to cost you to get that goal. And then when you're going to put what it's going to cost you, put a timeline. 3 years, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Everything's realistic, guys. It's just a time frame.
This is really
That's all it
important.
is.
This is a great point because you got to really think when you do that, are you really being honest with yourself? Are you really being honest? For some of you, I can tell by, you know, how you look at me and stuff when you're telling me stuff, hey, this isn't real for you yet. It sounds good. You know, it's kind of like in December, you're going to join the gym. It sounds good, but you're going to bail in February. Okay, so what is that goal that you want, and are you really committed to getting it? Are you really willing to change? Now, here's the opposite. If you don't do it, if you end up where you're going to end up, do you really want that too? Because there's nothing worse that you get older or whatever and you do stuff and you're not where you want to be. Now you're running out of time. Now you got time going against you. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's good. So basically, you just make a list. You know, do that today. You're gonna find out is really the first 20 goals. That's easy. The next 80 ones, that's the challenge. That's where you got to get outside your box. That's where you got to get outside to think bigger. Because you're gonna, well, I already got all these things. Okay, that's great. But what about going, you know, traveling? Where do you want to travel? What do you want to experience? Mike has always taught us that. You know what I'm saying? Where do you want to travel? What do you want to own? What do you want to have? Right? What are the experiences that you want in your life? And who do you want to become? That's really important. So attitude, approach, and expectation, what he's been preaching to all of us for many, many years.
Say it again, what are the three?
Attitude, approach, and expectation. Because, you know, when you guys, for some of you guys that came up to me and say, hey, how many contests should I do? And I ask you, the first thing I ask you, how many pennies do you have? And if you tell me that you have 1 penny or 0, then you should be talking to 100 people a day. That's the risk. 100 people a day, that should be your #1 goal. Because you're gonna develop this prospecting muscle. And once you develop that prospecting muscle, nobody can take that away from you. You can drop me anywhere in the United States, and I'll go and I'll build whatever. The same thing I got here, I can drop anywhere in the USA. We have the same opportunity, guys, but we're not willing to do the work. You talk to 100 people a day, I promise you, I guarantee you, that you're gonna end up with a deal. You're gonna end up with a deal. Sooner or later, you're gonna end up with a deal, but you gotta be willing to do that. And if you can't handle 100, then do 99. You know, and if you can't do that, then just go to 98. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, look, build it up, until you get to that point where now people are calling you, and you know it takes time. I've been doing it 33 years. So people say, oh, I want to do what you're doing.
Let's give everybody hope. Here's hope. God, I love his face. You ever think the sushi guy, when you go there, the guy with the big stomach, see the guy laughing? Well, listen, your first year, now get this. I know the answer. Your first year. It's going to give everybody hope. How many deals did you do?
1.
First year.
Second year, I doubled. 2. Yeah, I doubled my production.
And what happened?
And it was a slow process. I mean, it was, you know, from 2, then I went to 4, then I went to 6, and then I met Mike Ferry. And all that time, I was a buyer's agent. I was a buyer's agent because I didn't know any different. And then Mike Ferry had the Action Workshop in Long Beach, and the only reason I can afford it was because it was free, right? That was the only reason. I was like, free? I can afford that. So I went to Mike Ferry, and that's when I saw him, I fell in love with that guy. And I was like, this is the guy. And so I started following him, and I started going to the Palm Springs Superstar Retreat, right? I started going to the production retreat. I couldn't afford a coach at the time, right? But at that time, I was like, oh, I gotta become a listing agent. That's the key, that's what I gotta learn. So then I had to put myself through all of the training, which is going to prospecting school. Every 2 months, I kept going to the prospecting school to learn. And once I learned the skills on how to say, how to prospect, and how to talk to people, and because it's a skill, yes? Yeah. Prospecting is a skill. Once you learn how to talk develop that skill, nobody can take that away from you. You can go anywhere. And I've gotten deals in car washes, I've gotten deals in, the AT&T paying my bill, the AT&T, DMV, I'm at DMV, I'm always talking real estate. And you guys should be doing the same thing. Right? So, but then I became a listing agent. Then I decided I want to become a listing agent. Now, the mistake I made, I dropped all my buyers. I was like, okay, I'm going to be a listing agent. Big mistake, right? Because now I struggle for the next 3 months, right? Trying to find the listing. You guys find getting listings is hard, right? I mean, the last lady interviewed 7 agents, the one in Compton, and I got the listing. But that means it was 7. She went through 7 interviews. Right?
But honestly, because I've been where you're at, when you have those 6 interviews, or you're the 7.
Yeah.
Really, how stiff really is the competition? How unprepared are most agents?
No, they're not prepared.
They're not prepared. So even though people show up, it doesn't mean that they're competitive. They just woke up.
They show up in polo shirts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how they show up. They show up in polo shirts, slacks, and not even professional looking. Their presentation, I look at their presentation, I'm like, it's a joke, right? I mean, so we gotta really get prepared, guys. Right. I mean, we're working in the best company in the USA. Amen. Yeah. I mean, I say but 100% right here, guys, the game is right here. Right here, that's where the game is right here, right? I mean, I really feel like I'm in Disneyland every day, right? I mean, you got to feel like that. Why? We got the highs and we got the lows. And that's our business.
But that's life.
That's life.
Life has highs and lows. It's not just real estate.
Yeah, but the attitude has got to be there. Your attitude that say, hey, listen, today's going to be a great day. Listen, you guys, I don't know if you guys know my story, but in 2008 when the market crashed, I lost everything. Everything. I had 10 rentals, I lost them all. 2 years later, I faced bankruptcy. I was in a court filing bankruptcy and having to sell my house short sale. I invested all my money from my house in Downey to my house in Pico, and I was there, sitting there, and I was like, man, that sucks. After 17 years. And when you go through that, man, it really transformed you. And then I came to Joe in 2009. Yeah, 2009. No, 2008.
That was a long time.
2008. That was the year
That's when we
2008
moved
when I
in
had
here.
lost everything. Well, I was
We
losing
moved-
everything.
We moved in here.
I moved in here in October of 2008. And I said, I came to Joe, and Joe said, well, I'm gonna give you an office, you don't deserve it, or your production. But I know your reputation in the past, because I was #1 at the Cobo Banker office in Downey. Right, and you said, and he told me, I said, I'm gonna give you an office, but you have next year to become Centurion. And at the time, that was my worst year, 2008. That year I made $48,000 that year. And the next year, 2009, I think to become Centurion, you had to be like 190 something, somewhere around
So I
there.
took a big risk on you.
Yeah, I was. Thank you. So when I got here, I just asked myself, okay, what got me to, my previous production? It was all 100% prospecting. So I came here, I got my section in the prospecting section, and I did not move from there every day. I was there every day. For those of you guys know me, when I was here, you guys know that I was always there every single day. People were telling me later, man, you were making me feel guilty. Because I knew I had to get away
This
with
is the
it.
truth. He would be there. It was the opposite of when you take your DOI test. He would sit there, and most of the time they make you move your eyes. Ramon, the only thing that would move would be his head. That's how he did. He wouldn't move. He was on the phone the entire time. 4, 5, 6 hours.
Yeah, every day, guys. I was doing a lot of contact. Yes, sir.
How many contacts was your goal?
100.
And what time would you call me? Sometimes telling me I did it.
8 o'clock.
9 sometimes.
Well, I couldn't at 9 because it was illegal.
No, but
Something wrong with doing illegal stuff.
say, okay, I finally did my last one. Yes.
How many by a show of hands love this?
Committed.
Okay. What day next week do you have lunch open? What day next week?
I eat every day.
I know. I was gonna say obviously, but what day do you have?
Hey, the
I can
biggest
do
thing
that.
Hey, coming here is a great thing. I'll tell you that right now. I'm working right now on my health. You know what I'm saying? We're both holding each other accountable. JP, we run into the gym this morning. I'm like, hey, what's going on? So it's a fun thing, right? It's a fun thing. But yeah, I mean,
What day next week?
What day?
And we have an hour of your time.
I have to look at my schedule. So here's the other thing, guys. Unfortunately, in our community, Hispanic, Latinos, right? I go to a lot of these events, and the majority is Caucasian, and then we got 20%. They're not investing money in the business. You don't hire a coach because, oh, it's too expensive. You don't spend money on a system that you need to, that you know that if you invest that money, it's gonna take you to another level. But you don't want to because we operate out of scarcity instead of abundance, right? This week alone, I dropped $9,000 in my business. So you gotta work on your business. You gotta be willing to say, hey, I got the check, 10% goes to the Lord, 10% goes to my savings, right? And then invest 10% into your business. This is your business. This is not Joe's business, this is your business. I don't see it like that. I come here, I love being part of this, but this is my business. We gotta keep building our businesses. So, we gotta make sure that we gotta be investing, hire the right coaches, hire the right systems to become better.
So what we're gonna do, gang, we're gonna find out when he's available next week. For 1 hour, we're gonna do a lunch and learn.
Lunch
Okay?
and learn.
A lunch and learn. So you get a lunch out of it. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
So whatever day that
But
was.
if I lost everything, right, and I regained back, I thank God that, the Lord's been good and gracious to me, right? He restored everything, and even, and then some now. I'm in a stage where I don't need to be here working that much.
Your wife retired?
Right, my wife she said, hey, when we have a grandkid, I'm staying home. Oh, okay, yeah, whatever you say. Right? Whatever she wants. She wanted a house in Friendly Hills, okay, yeah, whatever. Right, whatever. Hey, that's what happy wife, happy life. But we also want to be happy. Oh. But what I'm telling you guys is exactly what Joe's saying, to give you guys hope. Listen, I lost everything. Bankrupt. Right? It's sad, but it's beautiful. Okay? Because it does something to a man when he falls bankruptcy. And it breaks a man. And then that man has to get up and says, okay, let me clean myself up. What can I do now?
Yeah.
and then go back to the same basic principles that got us where I was before. And that's all I basically do. You guys can do the same thing, right? So just make sure that you're willing to write down just 100 goals, your bucket list. All I ask you, hey, did you do your bucket list? And then add them all up. And then add up the whole thing up. It's gonna come out to 20 million, 30 million, I don't know. Whatever it is that you want, all your goals and dreams. All right, any questions?
When you say you talk to 100 people a day, like contacts, or you talk to people just as long as you talk to 100 people a day?
Yeah, and make sure they're grown-ups. All right? 100 conversations a day.
100 conversations
Yes.
a day, okay.
I guarantee you, you do that, put yourself through a 66-day challenge.
Yeah.
So this is what my broker did, it's the same thing. 100 business cards, 100 business cards with a rubber band around them. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now here was the thing. When you walk into my office, Joe, bring in those business cards. He'll look at the cards, he'll look at the clock, and it says, get to work. You have bigger problems. He says, I don't care if you go to the mall and hand them out to every girl there. I don't care. Talk to 100 people. So 100, when you looked at that represents when you carry them around, I need to get to work because the day can get away from you. And the prospecting is not there. And by the time you want to do it, you're tired, whatever. So figure out whatever your energy level is. Like me, it's always in the morning. It was always in the morning. Get it done, get it done, get it done. Okay, so just think of 100 business cards. You all have that. Put a rubber band around them and carry them. Because if you get to 100, it'll change your life. The problem is we're not talking to enough people. Okay,
Yeah.
so there you go.
Somebody had a question on it.
I was just gonna say if you could talk a little bit about the affirmations that you say every day that you would tell me about when we're in coaching. Just, I think it's really beneficial how you like say things to yourself before you start prospecting, just to get your mind right.
Yeah, so, and if you guys can come on my office, I'll give you guys a copy of the pre-prospecting checklist that Mike Ferry, well, we give to our coaching clients. I'll give it to you guys, that's no big deal, right? But you're absolutely right. Affirmations, we're saying them every single day, and some are positive and some are negative. Because it's really your self-talk, right? Whatever you're telling yourself, you're right. If you say it's not me, only for them, you're right. So you have to say good affirmations. Today's gonna be a great day. I'm expecting today somebody woke up and today somebody said, I need to sell. And lo and behold, I'm gonna call. You see, that's my attitude. My attitude is when I get on the phone, no, today somebody, unfortunately, might be getting divorced. And you're gonna be the person that you talk to that person. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things, but you gotta be, or somebody got promoted and they got a job. So I run in my head, when I prospect, well, you know, what is it today? Who is waiting for me today? Somebody's waiting for me today. I don't know who it is. And listen, I might go the whole day prospecting, I don't get nothing. But tomorrow's a new day, right? And I do it all over again. And tomorrow's a new day, and tomorrow's a new day. And at the end of the week, I might go 4 days with nothing, and then on Friday, I end up with 5 hot leads that want to sell or want to buy a house. So the thing is that we gotta connect the dots. And the way we connect the dots by showing up, be here on time every single day, get on the phone be intentional every single day, talk to people every single day, and something great is gonna happen in your business. Because we're all, every single one of us, we go through the same emotions that every single prospector in here. And it's the self-doubt that wants to sometimes kill us, wants to take us down. Amen?
Amen.